Cotman, Crawford, and the Jersey Guy podcast.
Hey everybody, Kenny Cotman.
Lewis Crawford.
And I'm Tom Ramage, the Jersey Guy.
Holla!
What's up, what's up, what's up?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
How you doing?
You good, my boy?
Yeah, I'm good.
Everybody chilling?
Yeah. So how are you guys doing otherwise? You guys good? Good.
Yeah, bro.
I'm glad I got that out of the way. Yeah, let's get on with the podcast. So anyway, I thought this would be a good one because bees are important. I mean, I think we're just starting to really pay attention to that. And I think that's part of, not only is that something that everybody's starting to get on the bandwagon a little bit about, but the vegans have been way ahead of the curve before anybody else, pretty much.
So our episode is about bees.
Bees.
This episode will be the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. No, but well, you know,
Because of the honey and all that.
Well,
right?
as vegans, we don't eat honey, and I know that's one of the things that people go like, "That's extreme," but like, we it falls under the same principle. We just don't believe in taking things from animals that they made for themselves.
Right.
So but
and I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I mean, that's the principle. On it.
Me and him had this discussion.
They make the food for
themselves.
For
Right, exactly.
Really?
Understood.
I thought that honey was one of those things almost like I said, like on a plant level.
Well, I mean, it's I not to gross you out, but like it's technically it is pollen, but it digests in their stomach and then they vomit it out and it becomes honey.
Right.
Right. So
Okay.
then how is that?
But
so
it is.
So I don't have to witness it. I'm good.
If you want to get technical, I mean, the ingredients in it are made from plants, but it's still a byproduct of bees. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But I thought that was like I said, it's like the same way.
It's like saying,
you do with plants.
Cow's plant based. It's made out of grass because they eat the grass and they make. No, I'm making it.
Right. Well, it's grass fed, so that's what they say.
I know.
I thought
But not to get off on the topic.
No. I thought that honey was the same idea as a plant base, if you will. Right. So then the honey would be something that we would use for us. So then what do bees do with the honey? Like, so they make the honey and they eat it.
It's food storage.
Right.
Yeah.
So that then I don't know. That's crazy. Like, I thought that was something that for
So that's the one way, as far as vegans are concerned. That's but I'm sure they're on board with everything else as far as not using pesticides, killing them, making sure that you have like certain things in your grass. That, people are paying more attention to that with dandelions and certain things. So you're not just cutting and mowing down. Like that is helpful for these bees. To do that.
Exactly.
That's part of their process.
Lots of flowers on your property.
Right.
And also, and that's the thing for, they say for gardens, a lot of people don't make that mistake, is they say in your garden you should plant some flowers. So it attracts the bees because they need to pollinate the flowers that you have for your vegetable plants.
Right.
But like they're smaller flowers. They might not attract the bees as quickly as like, some other big flowers and stuff like that. So the flowers draw them in and they go over there and go, oh, there's other flowers here. I didn't see them from far away.
Boom.
And then, that's the whole process.
Got it.
Some flowers will attract bees better than the flowers of an eggplant plant, that they need to, because that's what, that's how all, some people don't know, but that's how vegetables are made. Anybody listen is that all plants produce a flower, but certain flowers of certain plants, like say an eggplant or a tomato, when they pollinate it, because they need the bee needs to go in there and pollinate the plant, and then that pollination process causes a plant a fruit to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So without the bees, we'll never have fruit. By the way,
right.
We'll never have fruit or vegetable or certain vegetables. Right. You only have like greens and kale and
right.
But even broccoli, you'll never have broccoli because the broccoli is from the flower. The flowers need to be pollinated in the broccoli.
Right. And that's what they do. That's their thing. They go from one.
Oh wait, no,
that's
not right. No, broccoli actually. No, broccoli.
No,
broccoli actually. The head of the I'm getting confused with a different plant. The broccoli, the top of that's all flower buds. You ever see them let a broccoli plant go?
Yeah.
The whole thing the whole top of the head turns yellow.
Wow, I believe it.
And turns like little flowers grow from it. The top of the broccoli is just buds.
Right.
Multiple buds.
Yes.
Right.
These
I don't like broccoli.
flowers.
Yeah, no, I'm not a broccoli guy.
Not a broccoli guy.
No.
Yeah, well, it's not the point is the fact is that it shows you how much they're involved in our ecosystem. That's the main thing. That's, it's, for those who love broccoli, they're happy it's there. For those who not, there's other stuff that they're helping out with. You know what I mean? So
I think people forget too is when people think of bees, they just think of honeybees. But like, there's carpenter bees, there's bumblebees, there's masonry bees, and
you can mistake a carpenter bee for a bumblebee because they kind of look
very
similar.
They're fat bees, but they all pollinate.
Right.
So it's not just honeybees. Honeybees are actually indigenous to Europe, and they were brought here, so people can have honey, So, that's a lot of people don't know that. But like the natural pollinators in North America are like carpenter bees, bumblebees, masonry bees. I'm sure there's other bees.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's so many species. Yeah. There's probably a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it's good that we're paying attention to it and now understanding. Oh, okay, yeah, right. We shouldn't be killing these things and poisoning them. At my job, they have honeybees in the building,
right?
And there's and we were talking about it. Oh, we're gonna just get this one. They're gonna come. You can't. You should. First of all, I don't even think you're allowed to do that. But you shouldn't kill honeybees. Right. Get someone to come out and they didn't. They did the right thing, of course. To get someone to come out and get them out. That actually happened one time before in another building of theirs, and they were able to get honeybees out the right way, and then just transport them out, and then hopefully, I don't know what they do. I'm sure later on they set it up somewhere where it,
Yeah, that's how they did it. They set up the beekeeper comes and then sets it up where they can get the queen to come out.
Right, and then it goes down into the
and they just follow along. They make them, and then the rest of the bees come in, and then they take them and they move them somewhere else where they won't be in a problem for the building. Because they could mess up the structure, or depending on how big the beehive gets inside, it could mess with things in the building.
I've seen
them cut floorboards open in people's houses, and it's
I got a funny story.
Full of bees.
And I don't know if I've told this story before because I've told it to so many people. So I apologize if I. So we were in Boy Scout camp. I was like 12 years old, up in Blairstown, New Jersey, Nobi Bosco. So they do this. They call it the cable cut hike. They go on. It's they go up the power. There's like cable cut power lines that go through. So you climb up the mountain and then go around, and towards the end they go, all right, guys. Towards the end of they say, everybody, there's a hollowed out tree that's there. There's a tree that the entire tree inside of the tree is like a wasp's nest. So
snap.
When you go back there, we need to walk past it, but quietly. Don't make any noises. Don't disturb them. So terrified of bees, me at 12 years old, as a bee land on my shoulder. And I go, I think we're getting like attacked by bees. I'm like, bees! And everybody starts running. Everybody got stung except me.
Bro. You see?
How fucked up is that?
That is. So Kakama should have got your ass to quit the quickness, bro. They should have.
Man.
That's messed up, man.
Shit.
Yeah,
no shit.
I've been stung by a wasp. When I was a kid, I was in Pennsylvania. Yeah. We used to go to this one place, and I was walking through the camp, and this wasp got me on my neck and bit me like 3 times, man. Because it's not just once,
right?
And man, this thing hurt.
And that's
bad.
The thing, people get confused about wasps too. Unlike bees or pollinators, wasps don't pollinate. They're carnivorous. They eat other insects.
Yep.
And like bees, if they sting you,
they lose it.
They lose the stinger.
It breaks off. Sometimes the back of their like torso breaks out.
Right.
That's how fucked. But wasps, they don't have that problem.
No, they can come back and
sting.
Yeah, and it hurts bad.
Yeah. That's nasty.
And they will sting you multiple times.
But fortunately,
fucking shank your ass.
Yeah.
That only happened. Well, it only happened once.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. I think, as a matter of fact, they have things, something about not mowing the lawn for the month of the May or something like that. Or there was something I heard on the radio in regards to, because you have the dandelions, you have all that stuff to kind of let it grow, because it's the beginning of spring and you're kind of helping out, because you don't want to start cutting the lawns right away. I mean, of course, you do. Or leave an area that's not cut, but open an area that only you need, and then leave the rest do its thing, because they say it's actually real helpful for the ecosystem.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, because not everybody has flowers in their house and stuff like that. And those are the natural flowers of the area.
But now, is that something because there was a fear of bees going extinct a couple of years ago? That now they're saying
there was a lot of
them?
talk of that,
right? So saying
because
like,
they were
now
using pesticides and they do all kinds of things, and not necessarily directed at the bees, but because they were using them, I think it was killing the bees.
Got it.
I don't think they were intentionally looking.
Well, there was there was a problem with the honeybee industry, honey industry. They were. They're supposed to take when they take the honey from the hive. They're only supposed to take a certain amount,
right? And
then they leave the rest.
So the bees are supposed to have it, right?
Because bees always make excess, right?
Right.
They make
reserves,
and also to insulate their hive,
right?
So they take the whole principle was like take the excess and then leave them the reserves, so they can have enough to for the winter. Where was I going with this? Yeah, fucking it happened again. This is ADHD. I'm sorry.
No, but we were talking about the fact that they were making the honey.
Oh yeah, so that's
yes.
So
but
what
they're
they started
to
doing,
take at a certain point. They're not allowed,
started
but they're doing different.
They fucking assholes. This is corporations. Try to squeeze every fucking penny we can instead of
doing the right thing.
Yeah, they they started pouring back in. They took all the fucking honey and replacing it with corn syrup. Corn syrup is not nutritious.
Right.
I think they can give it to us like us asshole Americans. Just put corn syrup.
Yeah, they'll never know the difference.
Fucking sugar,
Yeah.
And that's like saying
right.
That's what they.
I get it. I mean,
so, and then they start having hive collapses. They call them, which is where like the whole fucking hive dies.
Right. Telling you, man. Insane, fucking insane. But go ahead, Lou, what you got?
Yeah, well, it says critical role in maintaining biodiversity. They are key pollinators for a wide range of plants and species, including that form the backbone of natural ecosystems. The loss of bees can lead to the decline of these plants, which in turn affects the animals that rely on them for food and the habitat. So they're important not only really not so much for us. I mean, they are, but for the animals as well, that they probably cohabitate with mostly than us,
Right.
And those guys know, as far as the animals, their instincts, they know what it is that they need. And obviously it's good for the bees to be doing their job and helping them out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
ecosystem. I mean, you got to listen, the basic idea is that if you lose it and you start, just taking advantage of it and doing like what Tom said with the syrup and everything. I mean, it's just like, all right, I get it. You're only going to be here for a certain amount of time, but why is it so hard to do? It's always seemed so harder to do the right thing when you know what the right thing is. But like you mentioned, the dollar, right? Of course, they have to squeeze every dollar they can get out of it. So it's a shame. So something has to suffer in order for them to do that. And I think they're starting to figure that out now because people are starting to pay attention. Because you're seeing it a lot more now than you did before. I mean, you always knew about it, but now it seems to be it's being pushed a little bit more, which is great. I think that's a good thing. And that's the things we should be pushing for and helping out, because without, we want to live on the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing too. I mean,
take care of it.
And it's for all, all right, we know that bees pollinating our agriculture is beneficial to us. When we eat, and I know you're not cool with that, but when we eat the honey, it's supposed to be better for us. It's healthier, or it's healthy for us. It helps fight allergies. When you eat the local honey from
people
your
who have
area.
allergies, they say it helps you eat the local honey.
Right. And that could be beneficial. People, and I don't know, you probably know better than me, because I didn't see this when I was looking it up. If you eat the honey, people who are allergic to bee stings, would that help them?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm just saying. I mean, it's like,
but it probably you can look it up. I mean,
well, no, I couldn't find it. I've tried it. No.
So that's the kind of conversation Tom and I've had back and forth. Where I'll say, okay, but let's say they're taking care of the bees and they're doing it the right way, but they're not taking all the honey like you were talking about earlier and doing it the way they're supposed to, or should.
Yeah.
And then people can benefit from it because you're not torturing or hurting the bees, right, or whatever, right, just for your benefit. And then you don't even realize, because the ignorance is that, okay, well, if I don't do this right, then we're not going to have it. Because eventually we're just going to burn it out and then it's gone. And then what do you do? So yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think it'll do for bee stings, but look it up. You never know if it's going to help with allergies and stuff like that. Yeah, I say that's good.
Yeah.
Well, anything that's natural is better than actually man-made drug anyway. In the first place.
Definitely. But then that's where the veganism stuff comes in, because it's, for me, and how I'm thinking right now at this moment, I should say, we eat, well, those of us who eat meat and stuff like that, when you eat plants, vegan stuff, does it benefit you health-wise other than just like what was it, like the stuff that they put into the animals? We're not using the animals.
Yeah.
Now, how does it help you? I'm sorry. I'm saying
wait. Steroids?
No. Well, I'm saying like that's stuff that we put in with the animals, right? So then now with the bee stuff, so plant-based things. So they said with the bees eating the honey, other insects that make different things, would that still be like that? To me, that would be beneficial because it's healthier.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that, but so we just,
it's just that's what they,
it's just we don't want to exploit animals.
Exploit them, right? So, I get it.
Yeah. No,
and the whole point,
I understand the point of it, but yeah.
And I understand the point as far as where you're looking at it from, because you're saying there's never any middle gap. When you say we're going to just do this, it always winds up going farther than it's supposed to. So I guess that's the whole. Well, then forget it. Then it shouldn't be done at all. It's kind of more the mindset of the vegan, which is listen, if you can't do it where you're still helping out the bee and you're not hurting it, and it's just for your benefit, then don't do it at all.
Yeah. It's just
right. Leave it alone and just let it be.
Right.
And and I understand
the whole principle.
And that makes sense.
Just leave animals alone.
Right. Pretty much. And I agree with that.
I mean, but I'm sure if there's already existing, research on it, maybe someone can synthesize whatever it is that they find, what I mean, whatever, benefit they find, and make a synthetic version of it. If they were to say like there was some kind of something that only came from a certain insect that was like saved lives or something like that, like, or something, or they find like, oh, it's like the fountain of youth, so you can get 20 years off your life.
Right.
I get maybe it. They find synthesize it, make a synthetic
I'm sure they're
version,
looking at all that stuff regarding
yeah. I mean,
regarding different insects.
But of course, the original research came from just animals. So it gets a little...
Yeah, it gets dicey because at some point they're going to do more and experiment in different areas that you're not even aware of, or think, so, and that's a little, but it goes back to what we were saying in the last podcast, was that there's going to be the positives and the negatives, and hopefully they lean more towards the positive and they stay in that direction. But doing the right thing and, not automatically killing a bee because you see it or you're allergic, get a candle, get the ones that help with the, what's the oil that they have? Can't believe this. My wife buys these candles all the time. I can't remember the name of it. Citronella. Thank you. That helps, so you don't, you're trying to have a little deterrent so it doesn't, the bees don't like the smell or whatever.
Too. They sell them.
Oh yeah, right. You can do however you want naturally. Right.
They
say there's a bunch of different things you can do that are natural that won't hurt. It'll just deter them to come into your area, and God forbid, hey, listen, people are allergic; they don't want to get stung.
Right.
But don't just automatically go and kill them if
Right. All right. So now my next question. So now, if we don't have bees, that means they don't pollinate. Right. So that means they're not, spreading to grow whatever, plants and stuff like that. Now, if people were to do the actual pollinating, would that be, what I'm saying? Like in the greenhouse. So we have people that, we have greenhouses and stuff like that. And we're
it's not about that. It's more, it's more about the environmental part of it, where it helps the ecosystem operate the way it needs to. And if that's gone, I don't think man is going to be able to equal that. Somehow the replacement, you know what I mean? Like, okay, well, we're going to have to do the job for the bees. You know what kind of task that would be in order for them to happen, to do that? You would have to I don't think that would be. The best thing is just there is no worrying about if man kills them or anything. It's more about, let's just do the right thing and recognize, okay, we're finally understanding that this is important and we need to protect them like everything else in the ecosystem, not only bees, all the animals, things like that. And of course, we all have our own views on certain things, but I think we agree on majority of most of that stuff, when it comes, at least I know I do, as far as, animals and stuff concerned. And I would just say protect them and do the right thing, course, not because I can't see how man could. I apologize for running on, but right. I can't see how they would be able to do that to replace to pollinate. Would you just drop it from planes or something like that? That just makes no sense. You know what I mean? It just
they have to go into the plant where the pollen comes out of the flower, right. And all they do is you know how they collect the pollen, right? They rub against it.
Right.
Yeah. Do you ever see a bee?
Shake the pollen off them when they get to the
right. Do you ever see a bee when it's in the flower? It's full of pollen.
Yeah.
It's like it's a coat,
and
by the time
scraping of the pollen does something, and then also there's cross pollination. So when they go into another flower and they scrape it, they get the pollen breaks off, and it causes the male and the female plant to cross pollinate.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's the stuff we learned in high school.
Yeah.
Right, it is. And they're just doing it without any thought in the world. They're just doing what they naturally do, going from one thing to the other, and they're just
talking about bees. That is something I want to talk about, in how amazing nature is, and how amazing that bees. We're we go to school and we have to learn things. They just make a fucking hive with mathematical precision. How the fuck do they do? It's like built into their DNA.
Right.
They just know how to build a fucking hive.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah. Right.
It's like every bird who builds a nest.
Perfectly the same. All the holes are perfectly the same size. Everything's like perfect. Like, how the fuck do they know how to do that?
It's instinct,
they
man.
They don't go to fucking engineering school how to fucking make a hive. They just make it.
He said,
right. No, they don't rely on that. They just instinct. Go by automatic.
It's
right. It's all instinct.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy. Look, when you find a bird's nest and you look at that thing when they're done, like, and when it's abandoned after they already had the chicks and everything, you look at it and you're like, oh, look at this thing, the way they made it, the way they weaved it and everything. Each bird had to do it first time for their, right? When they first did it, they didn't know how to do it, but they did it. Somehow they just went with whatever and they did it like every other animal that does things, That's great about nature. That's what I love about it, because it's just automatically programmed without any thought just to do what they're supposed to do. It's natural to them.
Same thing, chipmunks. You ever see what chipmunks do underground? It's crazy. They build these tunnels and like I feed chipmunks out. So I have a bird's nest and a chipmunk feeder and squirrel feeder, and he'll open up all the peanuts and
stuff his face.
And then he goes in, and then he comes right back, and he's doing it again. Where's he putting them? And I looked online to see what it looked like, just like a diagram. And they have these tunnels with these food storages, and they have another, and then they'll have another tunnel to another room where they put bedding. They'll put like. Same thing, like they'll build a nest and they'll put like all like stuff for them to lay on, and then there'll be another room with more, as much food.
So they got mansions.
all winter long. They can survive on. They have all that food and shit for them.
You ever see when they poured the cement into the anthill?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And they dug it out.
Yeah,
and they talked about how
if it's like an old anthill.
Oh yeah,
no, it wasn't. There were no anything.
It was abandoned.
Yeah. But they put it in, and it showed how they had their own trash area, where they were able to recycle stuff. I mean, it was amazing how everything was so perfectly. I don't know, dude. That's crazy shit. But it's so that's what's so intriguing about it. You know what I mean? It's like that's I think the one thing that, as far as man is concerned,
I can't wait till they figure out a way.
You just go with your gut. You know how we talk about gut. That really refers more to your instinct, right? Just don't think about it. Just like if it don't feel right, just don't fucking do it.
Right? Yeah.
Or if it does feel right, do it.
See, right away. I'm thinking. Imagine if we studied and found out how that works. How like nature has it like things programmed into their DNA. We figure out how to do that, and then we can program. But you know what? Someone would use that for evil. They'd be like, "Oh, let's program them to be humans.
You two guys.
Let's program all the American citizens to be more docile, so we can control them."
Yeah,
right.
No lie. So, but so now we know that the bees pollinate. We know they make the honey.
Yeah.
Now we know the different kinds of bees. Like we were talking earlier. Oh, did we say that? We said before.
No, we didn't talk about it.
So the different kind of bees. You said the carpenter bees and all those other kind of bees. Yeah. Do they pretty much do the same thing, pollinating?
Yeah.
Except that they don't. Also, it's all bees that pollinate. It's not just the honeybees.
No, they all do it because they're all going to whatever flowers or whatever they're doing. What they're going to all that stuff. You always see bees around that, and that's what
that's what they eat. Yeah.
Right. It's just they're going to take it from one place to the next, and without even knowing it, they're doing exactly what they were meant.
No, they know it. You didn't see the bee movie?
No.
Yeah,
I did see that movie. But it was,
I saw it too. You know what? A lot of people don't know about honeybees too is if you ever see like a cluster of looks like hundreds of honeybees, and they're just like in a random spot. Mm-hmm. They say to leave them.
Yeah, don't mess with them.
And wait for them. They're resting because what happens is people don't realize this because of the honey industry, and I'll explain that in a minute. But they're nomadic. Honeybees are nomadic. Mm-hmm. They don't typically stay in one place. They'll stay in one place maybe for a season, and they just go where there's they'll scout for an area where there's more abundance of flowers. Okay, and they'll build a new hive there. So they say leave them alone because they're in a cluster and they're all surrounding the queen to protect her. And then because the queen just finds a new place for the hive, the queen decides where a new hive is, and then get to work, build the hive. You guys know how to do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Wow.
And I watched this crazy thing on this woman on. It was on Instagram, and she's a honeybee. She goes and she gets them out and she moves them, whatever. So she was helping this one honeybee. Hive?
Yeah.
And the queen died, but they were still tending to her. So they helped them move into another hive, and by doing it, and she still moved the queen. They were taking care of it.
And then they'll designate a new
So
queen
what she did was she had the boxes where the bees were in, right? Yeah. She put newspaper in between the two because you can't integrate them right away. They will kill each other.
Okay.
They'll fight. You have to let them do it gradually. So she put newspaper in between both hives, and the bees ate through it eventually, and little by little, they just started mixing with one another, and before you know it, they were part of the hive.
Nice.
And they had a new queen.
Interesting.
So it was really cool. I was like, and this woman, she doesn't wear anything when she goes and gets them out. She takes them bare hands, she picks them up, she puts them in a thing. Amazing, how she does it. She's really cool to watch.
You know why people confuse honeybees and wasps a lot? Because they're similar size, except wasps are like super yellow and honeybees have more of an orange,
like a fuzzy, golden kind of.
They're more
color.
like a golden, more orange, and they're fuzzy.
Yes,
but honeybees are typically not aggressive. They're not.
No,
they're only if they feel like they're attacked. So if again, this lady probably handles them all the time, so they just know her, so they don't even sting her.
Yeah,
and she's probably super calm because she knows to be calm because they can
sense it. No doubt about it.
Actually release like pheromones.
Yeah, if you're scared,
and they fucking sense it and they don't like it,
right?
Because they know if
same like an animal
attack you. Yeah, so
yeah,
but back to what I was going to say about the honeybees. Remember I said the reason why they don't leave that. They stay in one place because they cut the wings off it's fucked up. They cut the wings off the queen so she can't fly. She can't fly and find another hive. So they have to stay stationary. So that's fucked up. That's like cutting your legs off. Oh, you can't fucking.
Who does that to them? The actual bees?
Whoever you buy the bee. Yeah.
I got you.
The producer, whoever the breeder.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I didn't realize that.
Honeybees.
No. But what you were talking about earlier is that sometimes bees will travel. She'll travel, right?
Yeah.
But she'll stay in that one spot. You said they would.
In nature, but in the honey industry, they cut those wings so they can't travel.
Right. Of course.
So
and that's what we were talking about a little while ago. So you got that part of it, which there's no. You got to find that happy medium. There's got to be a middle ground that has to be where everybody makes out, and no one's getting hurt from it. You know what I mean? Nobody's gaining or losing.
Well, they make it's really good. I bought it before. They have it's bee-free honey. They call it vegan.
Bee-free honey.
It's made from apple
of course
juice
they do.
concentrate.
Are you kidding me?
Fucking weird, and it tastes just like honey. There's a slight apple aftertaste, but it's good. That tastes good. I like apples, so I can't complain.
He always has these things. He tells me. When it comes to whatever it is different, they have,
That is funny.
There's a vegan alternative for everything.
Right, yeah.
And if there isn't, there's a recipe to make it.
Right, yeah.
Because that's what people used to do back in the day. They'd be like, oh, you know what I really miss? I miss eating that. And then they come up with, well, what's if we took this? And then people, and then, other vegans, they share the recipes. And I made something that's like this. You got to try it out. We use this. Right. And that's how... And now there's companies that are just making the plant-based meats, but before that, people used to just DIY it, make their own shit. A lot of like seitan, which is popular, stuff like that.
Not me.
No,
I can't. I don't know, man. I like honey. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if
I have to confess, I use it in my green tea every morning.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm going to do is not buy what I buy in the supermarket anymore, but really get it from a local farm. Or a place that has it. I know, not the same thing. I get it, but it's because of the natural and the benefits you get from it, and being that it's not as sugar, because the honey you buy in the supermarket off the shelf, it's mostly sugar.
Oh,
they're adding shit to that. It's not real honey. It's honey, but it's got other crap in it as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you want to get really good honey, you get honey from a local place.
See, so I didn't do honey until my wife introduced me to it. I was like, whatever. Like, I mean, I knew honey. Everybody knows honey. But I didn't think to put it in my tea and stuff like that. And I was like, what?
No, it's good. It's healthier for you, like you said.
Yeah.
It's way better.
Well, yeah, way better
if you're getting
than sugar.
Really good honey, of course.
Yeah. And but then only into talking to you guys is, more you with the,
I also use agave syrup sometimes in place of honey.
Yeah,
agave syrup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay.
I use that in place of honey sometimes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I guess I only until recently have I ever even thought about anything close to being that kind of healthy. You know what I'm saying? I never looked for it. Never thought about it or whatever. So like I never
that's
thought
what
about
happens as we get older.
Doing the vegan. Yeah, I know, right? And I never thought about the vegetarian view, thinking or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I never thought about being that kind of healthy and not eating that much sugar and all that.
Listen, I'm like you, man. I have a big sweet tooth. Fortunately, I don't do it as much as I wasn't nearly as bad as you, but I was bad. Like I had my own things that I liked. If I had a binge, I went on them. I could eat a whole bag of Lifesavers in like a fucking hour. You know what I mean? I'm not kidding, bro. I know you know it.
Yeah.
But but then I realized, after we did that sugar detox, Tanya and I, it kind of helped me reset myself where I was aware of it now, and I was like, okay, more of paying attention. Like if I got an urge for something and I wanted to go get it, then I'd be like, I don't need it. I'll just keep going. Like more in the sense that when my first instinct was, oh yeah, I'm gonna stop. I'll stop on a quick check on the way back and I'll grab that. Sometimes I do, but it's not nearly as often as when I was doing it before. You know what I mean?
Well, no. So okay, well, I'm sorry, because what you just said kind of like threw me back into what Tom was saying before. So if we use it as a natural sweetener, right, the honey, right, and we give back, so we buy from the local farms and such, or the beekeepers and whatnot, that they're giving back or taking only some of what's coming out of the beehive, would that be more? Would that be okay?
No.
As far as a vegan, or is it just a matter of
we went just through this part.
I'm saying because I mean, like I said, it's still like
at some point
the assumption where it's like no, they just take so much out of it and they just choking the shit out of the hive.
I would only assume that at some point when you're actually they're actually comfortable enough knowing that okay, they're actually doing the right thing and they're not doing that. That's not going to be for a while.
And
that's why I understand the reasoning of the way how a vegan thinks, in the sense that, listen, there is no middle ground. You guys always overstep your boundaries. You go too far, and we're back where we started again.
There was like a vegan activist who said something. I forget who it was, but they said like, all use, all animal use is exploitation, and all exploitation is abuse. and all abuse is wrong.
Right.
So that's
whether it's on animals or people and so on. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally understand. I get it.
That's gonna be another podcast because I got more.
Well, we've had that podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm saying just other stuff.
We could
can go back to it.
I'll do a vegan podcast.
We can do another one again
if you want, but no, I'm not saying what. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
we can do it another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I like it because it's all interchangeable. They're all part of one another, you know. And it's
guest on each
absolutely. That would be great.
I know you could. Yeah.
You know, so I think it's just important, you know, to do the right thing, and hopefully one day we'll get to that point with everything.
Right,
you know, we'll smarten up, you know, and see what happens. But again, you know, I'm glad that I'm paying attention to it because now when I mow the lawn or I weed whack or whatever, I'm like, I don't mind those freaking dandelions in the corner or whatever. I mean, I'm gonna leave them, man. If that's me helping out and doing. Now, my wife has all the flowers in front that are all, and I know they're in there because I can see them bouncing around. You know, bumblebees, honeybees, everybody's. You know, it's crazy. So I know we're doing it that way too. But when I'm doing the backyard, you know, if it's not going to hurt anything, the dogs are not going to go near it. You know what I mean? You know, the worst is going to happen. Gito will catch another bumblebee or two and then just let them go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
well, I tell you what, you know, again, sitting with you guys and, you know, listening and some of the stuff that we talk about, I learned a lot, you know, because I play devil's advocate is why I mess with you guys or whatever.
I know.
But, you know, I think that for us, human race, you know, we have to respect the bees and other animals, creatures, insects and stuff because it is a part of our ecosystem. You know what I mean? And I think everybody should know the need for the bees because of where we would be if they weren't here. You know what I mean? And like, because I'm only saying this now because of something that you had said before we did the show. About, you know, just the bees pollinating the world, you know, and just for us to live, you know what I mean? And I never thought about it like that. I really didn't. And I said, just listening to both you guys, I didn't think about half the shit that we talk about as that is going to benefit us.
And most people don't. We're ignorant to it, or we're just not knowledgeable enough to know or look into it. But you know, hey.
And I know I briefly mentioned at the beginning of the episode, but I don't want to gloss over it too much. It's
too late. No.
If we don't have bees, we don't have. If anybody,
it's not going to be good.
Whoever's listening, I would look up. There's a meme, and it was like a picture. You can probably Google like meme of what it would look, a supermarket would look like without bees. Like it showed the produce department, and like 90% of it was like empty,
right?
Because like you need the bees to make anything that, I mean, and to make fruit, like you need it for fruit, and what people consider fruit. It's funny, people like tomatoes are fruit, you know. And right. Anything that I think produces a flower, and the flower through cross pollination of a bee turns into a fruit, but like it's like barely like all you left is like vegetables, like celery, lettuce, greens, you know, like technically, like an eggplant. I know you bring eggplant. Eggplant's a fruit. Like beanies are pollinated, produce a fruit. You know what I mean? But
yeah, no, it's important. Everything around us is important. It's, you know, all of nature is important, and the animal kingdom in general of all species. We're nowhere where it used to be.
Right.
As far as where it is now. I mean, the percentage is so low. It's ridiculous. It's amazing that then not everything is extinct by this time already. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous with pollution and killing them off. And, you know, like when you see those crazy things when I see on this guy standing in front of a dead giraffe because he shot it, I'm like, really, man, what the, like, wasn't it beautiful when it was living and walking around? Yeah. That's, to me, that's beautiful. Right? Yeah, I get it. I know. And that's like, doesn't make sense.
Look at that beautiful animal.
Let me shoot it and put it mounted on my wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not a hunter, so I don't understand logic. You know what I'm saying? Or that
that's big. That's safari game. You know what I mean? That's not here in the United States. It's usually the deer and bear and whatever else. And depending on where in the country you're hunting, you know, I think like in Florida, you can hunt. I think you can hunt boar, right? In Florida.
In Florida, I know my son Andrew used to go and hunt boar.
At least I thought they could, or still can when you're out there, because they brought here.
Yeah,
and you know.
It's one of those things. You know, I said that would be another podcast. But there are things that just to keep the ecosystem balanced. You know what I mean? So like when we talk about what everything looked like many moons ago, it was about just to survive. So different tribes around the world, they would go and follow where the buffalo roam or where the deer went, you know what I'm saying? Or they would eat, they were vegan kind of thing without even knowing they were vegan, but there would be places and that they would go and raise and grow these things so that this way they could survive. And then here we are, fast forward to 2024, and we pretty much do the same thing. I don't want to say this so much. I'm sorry. I take it back. Not so much that we're doing the same thing. We just raise everything differently. You know what I'm saying? We deal with things differently. So like now for vegans, you go to certain places and you buy the vegan foods. For us that we're still carnivores, that we'll go and we'll try to do grass fed or whatever. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, don't forget, American Indians they cherished and respected everything that they had on the land.
Right.
Right. They did hunt, but when they hunted, they didn't hunt it to kill to
they did it
extinct.
Right.
They did it for whatever, and at that time, that's the way things were going. Whether it was you agree
that
with
was
it or not,
Indians
but
all over the place.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. Tribes.
My point, what I'm trying to say is that it wasn't vegan. They still ate meat, but what they did was they respected the animal and they knew how to hunt and how to use everything of the animal, not just the part that you eat, but everything, depending on what they're eating. And to say the difference would be like when the white man came and he started hunting buffalo versus the way the Indian hunted. All they do is skin him and leave him there dead. They didn't do anything else with the animal.
Really?
Yeah. But with the American Indian, they used every part of the animal and whatever it is.
Those pictures of them standing on like 1 million fucking buffalo bones. Like it was crazy.
Well, I thought that it was just because that was what was left over, if you will. I thought they used it for the meat. I didn't know that. What you're saying, I really, but I never looked into it.
When Buffalo Bill killed, he didn't kill it to eat the animal. They just killed it to skin it. Then they left the animal there to rot.
No shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did not know that, brother.
Yeah. But with American Indian, that's why I always say we could have learned a lot from them if we were smart enough to do the right thing, since this was their land to begin with.
Well, yeah.
And they could have taught us things as far as growing and taking care of nature and everything, and respecting, the way they were. Maybe we're starting to get that now too. We're starting to recognize that as well.
I think that it's
in a little bit of time. I'd say we're there yet, but I'm just saying,
but I think,
you can see that people are definitely making the turn.
I think all over the place, and for whatever reason, human race changed. I think all indigenous people, for whatever continent they were on, actually gave back, if you will, to the land. Wherever it was that we had that little clique that we just fucked up and went apeshit to where we are now, that we felt like things weren't going to benefit us, to help with the ecosystem. Because like, we're saying, we go back to Vikings and everything before that. And I said there was Indians, quote unquote Indians, all over the world, in the Caribbean and all over the place, indigenous people everywhere, that they would, take just enough.
Right, they adapted to the ecosystem. Right, and they knew how to live on it and thrive without having to damage anything.
Right. And I think that's, going back to, with the bees.
And that still happens in different parts of the world. Still.
Right. Yeah. So then going back to the bees, that now, for whatever reason, whatever it is that we're doing, well, not whatever it is, everything that we're doing, the pollution, insecticides and everything else that we're doing, you know what I mean, is just taken away from the bees pollinating, from just other animals. You said earlier with the chipmunks and stuff and the squirrels and whatever else, just all the shit that we're doing is just taken away from, from us, from this planet thriving, to continue to thrive. You know what I mean? And all of us, we have to sit back and say, shit, maybe we need to just, help the bees like some people.
Well, I think,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think each generation is getting smarter and smarter with that stuff. So.
Yeah, because we got dumb for a hot second.
Well, I think I was always like that, in a sense. I was always aware of it. Mm-hmm. I think the older I got, the smarter I got about it, in the sense where, I started to understand it better.
Right, you paid attention.
And started, not really all about me, but, looking at that around everything
Right.
around me instead of just worrying about what was good for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just, I think, hopefully we'll get there. You know, we're trying to stop pollution, but it just seems like that's until we get away from fossil fuels, that's going to be,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the big problem until we figure that out.
Yeah. Well, we got a little bit off of just only the bee topic, but
No, I mean, but
it's part of the whole thing.
You mentioned the pollution before,
right.
So I'm saying that's one of the biggest things that contribute to what the problems are on the planet, but not only with bees, but with everything, every living organism on the planet. You know?
No. What I meant was that the three of us sitting here, and we just we went all over the place for us because it's just of what said again.
It's diverse for sure.
Diverse for all of it, exactly.
Yeah. So much that you can go to, right?
Yep. So everybody, don't kill the bees. Call the beekeeper. Don't call the pest control to kill them all. And take care of the bees. But with that, take care of the bees. Another cool groovy episode.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So
let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers. Let's go Rangers. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Jets. Let's go Giants. Let's go everybody. What are you talking about?
No, not Jets. No Jets.
He's the Jets fan.
No. I'm a Jets fan. No Jets. Don't bring up the Jets. Anyway.
Jeez.
Love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
And go vegan.
Holla.
Did you do it already?